One love, Delta9 travelers. Welcome in to the International Digital Connection. Look, so many headlines for us to update one another with on this sunny weekend. What's going on your side of the globe? Thanks for tuning in to Delta9 Media. Man, listen, so much went down recently. So many headlines that we're going to be touching on with some striking updates coming in with the MV Barima. We're going to be hearing from the opposition. We're going to be hearing from the side of the government. We're going to be hearing from the opposition leader himself on a number of issues. The back and forth between 007 and Dr. Campbell. We're going to be getting into all of those details right here, right now on this live presentation. I want to say big up to everybody that's a part of the live from early. If you haven't already, Delta9 travelers, hit that thumbs up button and help to boost this video into the algorithm so that every person that comes in to the live presentation, or every person that's on the platform rather, will be able to see this notification and they'll know that, listen, Delta9 Media is live and they're sharing a number of updates. Plus, there was a protest today that we got to update one another with. I'm telling you, live on the ground, persons are not letting up. Persons are not letting up with all that's going on with the MV Barima, with the 3+ persons that are in custody right now, and a lot of other developments causing a number of persons to take to the street with the opposition. And we got those updates among other things. So as you come in, it costs you nothing at all to hit that thumbs up button. But it helps to boost this video in the algorithm, and it helps to help persons connect with everything that we have going on right here, helping us to reach to this milestone that we are presently in the journey to achieving, right? Big up to everybody that's in Burnell. What's going on? Thanks for tuning into the live presentation. Burnell is saying, good night, Delta9. Big up yourself, Burnell. Thanks for tuning into this presentation as we analyze some of what's going on internationally, and we can relate to the situations that locally persons got to deal with. We analyze some of what this brother is presenting as we jump into these headlines right now. One love to everyone in the chat.
Look at the top 12 or so richest countries in the world by GDP. You have America on top with $28 trillion GDP, China second with 18 trillion, and then you have a huge gap onto third Germany, fourth Japan, fifth India. Trinidad and Tobago is 115th, all right? But when you look at it from the point of view of GDP per capita, as in you divide the magnitude of the economy by the number of people in the population, Trinidad and Tobago shoots from 115 down there all the way up to 59th. And again, go back to the top 12 countries in the world. Trinidad and Tobago has a higher GDP per capita than China, which is the second richest country in the world. We have a higher GDP per capita than India, which is the fifth richest country in the world. We have a higher GDP per capita than Brazil, which is the ninth richest in the world.
As we analyzing this whole GDP, this, that, and the third, and everything that the brother's going to be bringing to the forefront in this video, it's good for us to get these details quick and fast. Where does Guyana rank right now, right? Guyana ranks approximately 9th globally in GDP per capita based on its purchasing power, right? As you can see, the information is up on the screen. 41st globally in the nominal GDP per capita, right? Giving you all of the numbers right here so that we could get a rough understanding as to how impactful this information that we're about to hear right here should be. to persons locally and in the Caribbean as well, like this brother is highlighting. We're going to jump back into these details right now as we see where Guyana is ranked. You hear some more of these details right here.
Indonesia, which is 11th, and Mexico, which is 12th. So wait a minute, we're 115th in the world. But when it comes to how much wealth each individual should be in command of, we shoot right back up to the top. Now, think about this. 15th in the world is Spain. Spain's GDP is 1.6 trillion. You know what other entity is equal, level with Spain? Black America, with a $1.6 trillion spending capacity. So the Black community in America should be as rich as the entire country of Spain. But let's bring it right back to Trinidad and Tobago. Our GDP is approximately 28 billion US dollars. Now, when you again do all the calculations, it comes down to $10,500 per person in TT dollars. We live in a country where more than half of the population make approximately less than 1/3 of that, which means that you look at Trinidad and Tobago, on the surface, it is a very rich country. But then you look at
same way like the information that we just highlighted what's going on with Guyana, because these is the numbers for Guyana. Again, I gotta bring it to the screen because listen, when you really suss out what's going on with V-Money, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Microscope, you'll see, it's a very rich country in total, yes, but there are certain ethnic groups that are by far extraordinarily ahead with their riches, and there are others who are way, way, way below. We're the ones economically who are way below, but we're propping up the economic empire of those who are very rich. Now, we are the ones who have been told consistently, race does not matter. It's not about race because we're all Trinidadians and we all must live together in harmony. So it's okay for others to be landlords and for us to be landless, for others to be the manufacturers, producers, owners, and controllers of the economy, while we are the customers and the clients and the shoppers. And we have largely accepted that narrative.
And it's a similar narrative, a similar situation that we hear in Guyana as well. And we gotta call it out. We gotta highlight it and call a spade, buddy.
Largely because it has been pushed on us by our politicians who have never ever, except on these occasional moments around late July or early August when you make these statements around Emancipation Day where you talk about Black empowerment. But we have, government come, government go, presided over those conditions where African economic disenchantment has been normalized. And the expectation is for us to accept it and feel comfortable with it. And
I'm telling you, a normalized situation that could never mean no good for us, could never put us in a situation of empowerment. Because this is things that persons is highlighting about what's going on the ground, even as we think about the Guyana Development Bank and all of these other ventures that is on the table.
What I do know for sure is that there is some bias. There is some bias in some of the institutions. There is some bias in some of the organizations whereby you see a proliferation of other ethnicities. So you, for example, look, and I know you have an issue with the banking institutions, but for Afro-Guyanese to set up businesses and for them to get available funding, there are greater hurdles that they face.
Right? So what's going on with us as we analyze GDP and everything that's going on in Guyana? Serious, serious times. Things that we can't allow them to brush under the rug. Things that we got to take seriously as we move forward with these headlines. You hear what the leader of the opposition is highlighting. right now.
Today, I want to highlight the harsh working conditions of thousands of sweeper cleaners. Many sweeper cleaners, the majority of them single mothers, report to work every morning at 7:30 and do not leave until 4:30 in the afternoon. Their attendance is monitored through a strict biometric system. Yet, after a full day's work, they take home 3,400 Guyana dollars, which is about 16 US dollars. I want Guyanese in the diaspora to understand the reality facing workers in oil-rich Guyana. Tell me, how can one survive on that, much less, and care for an entire family? Could the Minister of Education survive on US $16 a day? These women are expected to clean roughly 70 classrooms between them. They clean classrooms and washrooms, sweep the yard and drain, wipe down chairs and tables, clean blackboards, mop floors, and even fetch the water to every classroom they clean. Many have left the job due to heavy workload and poor wages. These schools are also understaffed with sweeper cleaners, which means an already difficult workload is being placed on too few workers. They're expected to do the work of several people while receiving wages that are not enough to provide for themselves and their families. Despite everything they do, they have nowhere to sit and eat their lunch. They are forced to eat outside, next to the washrooms. There is no shade where they sit. So when it rains, they get wet. On top of that, they're expected to monitor students when they go to the washroom to ensure no smoking, vaping, or other misconduct, while often facing insults from the students. When they need time off, they are given a hard time. What is even more disturbing is that these workers say they did not remain silent. They attended Vice President Jagdio's outreach program in June in Region 3 and made a formal complaint, but nothing changed. Their concerns were heard and ignored. President Irfan Ali was in Region 3 on Monday. These workers went there again, spoke about their concerns. Persons listened to them, and still nothing changed. It now seems as though the president and vice president are like two women competing for attention, moving from place to place and holding outreaches without actually solving them. What is the purpose of these outreaches if ordinary Guyanese repeatedly raise the same problems and nothing is done? These workers deserve dignity and respect. They are the first to arrive at our schools in the morning and the last to leave in the afternoon. Every day, they work to ensure that the nation's children have clean classrooms, clean washrooms, and a safe and sanitary environment in which to learn. Their work matters, their contribution matters, and they should not have to beg their government to be treated with dignity. I call on the regional educational officers and the Minister of Education and the Ministry of Labor to immediately improve the salaries of the sweeper cleaners at all schools across every region, to engage these workers, ensure every school is adequately staffed, and improve their working conditions. Today, I want to highlight the harsh...
Telling you, unity or else more of the same. More of the same for the persons that got to work to do certain things to make sure that the country is running how it's supposed to run, but yet still, they're being treated in a particular manner. Plus, you're getting paid next to nothing. You're hearing it for yourself, right, Delta9 travelers. What are your views about that as we continue to analyze what persons on the ground are saying about this?
But in the community of Barima, the Northwest District.
Thank you for that. And thank you.
Mr. Allen here was a former member of Parliament for Region 1 under the new administration. We are talking to him here today at the Kingston Wharf, where MV Militia is preparing to make that trip to Barima.
Yeah.
It is the first boat after the MV Barima tragedy. There are lots of people around here heading into Barima, and we are going to show you a little bit of what's happening here. But back to Mr. Allen, before we go and show you what else is happening, quite a bit of adults and children here who are preparing to catch that boat to take that 14-hour trip to Marijuana and then another hour to Kumaka. Mr. Allen, what can you tell us here? What are your feelings here? You were on the MV Barima putting on your son's mom there, but you said the last minute you walked off.
Yeah,
A miracle?
I also have put goods. I have 3 containers of cargo, chicken, beef, and pork on that vessel. Yes, at the last moment, I was there. The last thing I put on was 300 pounds of pork and some beef. And I was there and I'm looking at the boat, keep loading, and I said, Richard, I feel like taking weight this trip. And that was 22. I spent 37 minutes reasoning with myself about going on the boat. My car is in the compound right now. My car don't be left here if I'm going on the boat. So I sat on the boat. Number of persons, and I spoke to residents, business persons from both Kumaka and the Kaikuma district. People as far as Barima. And yes, one on that boat, one man, a father of 5, well, he moved Kumaka, he's in Barima, and he died. Mr. King died. That is one of the first questions I asked about after I heard it. And I said, and I said, but I didn't tell my son. My son knew that I was coming to put goods on the boat. But he knew that I decided in my heart I was going to travel. So I went back to Sandra's mother because we have pictures we took here. The daughter came in the country and we took pictures. The child said, let me take a picture of your mommy. And when she took the picture, she said, no, let me take a picture with us together for prosperity sake. And that word lingered with me. Prosperity sake. I went ahead, load my stuff. I'm gonna decide I'm not going to go. I went back to Eileen and I told her, I said, you know what? Go ahead. I am not traveling anymore. She looked at me, she said, Richard? I said, no, I'm not traveling. And I told the captain, I said, let my solo gang wait for me. I am not traveling. He said, why, Mr. Allen? I said, I am not traveling anymore. Because we know each other well. And so even part to have lost his life, I went to his wife, I said, look, I need something to eat because I'm hungry. I was here since 8 o'clock in the morning. And when I told Kurt, I said, I'm not traveling. He said, man, Richard, that's when we go on the boat, we will play dominoes right here. From time the boat leave here, we take up. Chief engineer, everybody who playing dominoes, we play dominoes. So I was well known for the stars. And that pained my heart when I knew what happened took place. Yes, the vessel was heavily loaded, and I looked and said, I feel like taking it.
Today you're here. How do you feel?
I am emotionally upset when I look at these children who are running on me. These children are running on, they're eager to get home. I spoke to someone.
Just like the others were.
The others were. You know these days telling me? Like I know I'm going to be transferred. This is harvest period. They're going to big march. And all about Northwest know about the big march. The big march is the crab march. People leave Canada all over from home for this march. So they're looking to get that from. I tell them, I said, I'm looking for people to send crab out to me. Remember me. Remember it's my third man that I can get crab from me. But when I looked at these children and I'm remembering what tragedy. I saw some people here today who turned away and went back.
Today,
I saw people here today,
who came with the intentions of traveling
and
and
they
then
turned away.
determined to went back. But Malaysia is a fairly new boat.
And it's a larger boat than Barima.
Very
It's larger, so and the seating accommodation, everything in this boat is completely different to what it was on Barima. So yeah.
very. Is there anything you'd like to tell fellow travelers, fellow Guyanese who would want to make the trip to Northwest?
Northwest is a lovely place. That is why I reside in Northwest. And you would have known that I spent at this senior journalist. You would have known that we too been in Parliament for Northwest. And I feel I represented. So this place, I need the administration to look more into the lives and how they handle things here with these people. We have people who right now frustrated. They can't get a ticket yet since morning they read it and they can't get through the whole system that they have. They need some easy place for these passengers who travel. People are frustrated. The young lady that is passing at the back of me here, that young lady there with two frustrated, she telling mommy, I want to go back home. Because she's going to get a document so she can get to write her CXC and I'm very much hurt about it. That she has to go through that.
So you think
Something that I wanted to send out there, that message. On the BMW, they had two vehicles, a Land Cruiser and a car. I heard persons making comments, and I know that is false. No passenger was in the car. No passenger was in the cruiser. If those vehicles come up now and come to this cell, you will see what is packed in there. There are goods packed in those vehicles. They don't allow no passenger to travel on the boat. You have a vehicle going there, you can't sit in the vehicle.
we heard about some generator, like a huge generator
Yeah, there were new generators on board on deck.
on there?
Do you know how many?
I knew about two of transport generators. That one was just next to my icebox. That one went on the boat on Friday.
As a Region 1 resident, former representative,
Well, first and foremost, this is a huge deal. So many of our Guyanese brothers and sisters have lost their lives. One of the most massive that we've seen, single incident that we've seen. And so I think it's incredibly important that those who are responsible for the systems that failed those people should be held accountable. And I do not want us to forget, because we have a way of something happens and then a couple of weeks in the headlines and we've forgotten. And so I'm here at every organized protest to show support, solidarity with the people, the families who have lost loved ones, support the young people who are so incredibly brave, because we know how victimization is very real. The threat of victimization is very real. So I want them to show solidarity with them. I want them to know that they can stand up against injustices, and with the APA as well. And so any organization that is intent on holding this government accountable for what has happened, to ensure that systems are put in place, that this never happens again. Not one single Guyanese must die as a consequence of a failed system. And so that's why I'm here.
I've seen the government saying basically they've appointed a COI, and that is their way of taking charge of accountability at this stage. How do you respond to that? When I've seen calls here, including the placard you're holding, calling for ministers to at least be sent on leave to allow for investigation.
The COI is a good move. It's part of the process, and we acknowledge that as a good move. And that process will take its course, and for me, the hope is that it's done professionally, and I have no reason to question it at this point. And so I welcome that. For me, when I think of accountability,
Sleepy is the only diaper brand in Guyana with such a wide range to choose from. We cater to all babies, from newborns all the way to stage 7. Our collection includes Sleepy New, Sleepy Sensitive, Sleepy Natural and Organic, Sleepy Night, and don't forget our fashion jeans. Most of all, they're available in both paste and pull-up styles. Sleepy, Guyana's #1 selling baby diaper, available at stores nationwide.
Study hard,
and
work hard,
referrals.
play harder.
It says this.
Verb, nerve,
The
and muscle
commission shall
power.
determine
Keep
on the
thinking
basis of
and
evidence
moving at any age. Verb, nerve, and muscle power.
whether any act or omission, negligence, misconduct, dereliction of duty, breach of law, or established procedures, systematic deficiencies, or institutional failure by any individual, entity, or institution contributed to or caused the casualty or adversely affected the response. Broad mandate. Where warranted by evidence, the Commission shall identify the persons, entities, or institutions concerned and recommend appropriate measures of accountability. Recommend appropriate measures. Without presuming that any offense has been committed, the Commission shall determine whether the evidence discloses possible criminal conduct, including possible criminal negligence, misconduct in public office, falsification or concealment of certificates or maintenance of records, fraud, corruption, obstruction of justice, destruction or concealment of evidence, or any other offense under the laws of Guyana. They shall determine whether those things happen. Where the evidence warrant for the investigation, blah, blah, blah. Any finding or recommendation under this part shall not constitute a determination of criminal guilt or a final
Telling you. So we get a chance to hear for
which
ourselves.
remains a matter for the courts and other competent authorities. So they may.
So there's the back and forth with the whole COI and everything. So far, those are the updates coming in, right? Big up yourself to Burnell. Burnell is saying, I'm living in Region 1, Port Kaituma, Waterfront. We here on the flight. Big up yourself. You see, international, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. Persons all the way in Region 1 saying, listen, they on the international digital connection, they on the flight, and they analyzing what's taking place. They could hear directly what's coming in from the Attorney General and what persons are highlighting. The persons directly affected by this tragedy. We want to say condolences to all the loved ones, all the family members, and rising power to our everlasting energy. Right? Because this is a tragedy that we will never forget.
A single sense of remorse. There's no remorse in his posture and his language, you know. And so for me, accountability is also it's also committing to fixing whatever is broken to ensuring that this never happens again. As simple as that. And I see from our leaders a lack of humility on this matter. You know, we're up against each other. This person, just sit and humble yourself before the people. You are there to serve the people of this country, and some of their actions are telling you otherwise.
Is there anything you'd like to share?
No, I mean, I'm just so incredibly proud of these young people who are coming out here. I myself has suffered significant victimization because of my advocacy, and I want them to know that it's okay to stand up against injustices. One of the things that I've been thinking about is how do you raise civic-minded children in a space where at every turn when you're standing up they see you being beaten, and I'm so proud that I'm able to encourage even my son to join us today to stand up for something that is significant.
Thank you. All right, Janelle, you're out here. I've seen you on several of the protests. Why is it so important for you to add your voice to this call?
It's always important for every person to add their voice, every person to play their part. You see, the young mother, big up yourself, saying, listen, I went out and I went out with my son so you could understand the things that he got to stand up for. right? So you could understand what's really taking place, right? Big up to all of the travelers that's in the live right now. Special thanks to everybody who take time out to support Delta9 Media. Just see we got 1,000 jewels. Thanks to all the travelers that's in the chat right now. Trent, big up yourself. Thanks for supporting independent media.
Put it in the last slide. You know, if a train encounters a problem in another country, you pull it off the line, you have a redundant carriage that you could put to serve the people while you fix the other one. So if you need 2 ferries, you don't just have 2 ferries. You need at least 3 ferries or 4 ferries. And one of them is a redundant ferry. If your maintenance is so poor, something that it can, some redundancy in the system. Our system has no redundancy in it, and the vessels that are plying the trade are not maintained properly. Well, let me go further into the whole crime. So now I explain to you why I believe most of the people drown. The captain is the only person I have a picture from when he was recovered. Is the only person I ever saw in a life jacket. It was the only life jacket I saw in any image connected to MV Barima. And that's because they would have had life jackets available in the wheelhouse, right? What else? Yeah, so the ones that did manage to make it through, they were able to float on. I even, there's a video with two indigenous guys floating on a on like a door. The guy filmed, like, you see these guys rock floating on a door and they're like black and night. Y'all remember that video? I could even show you what they were floating on. I have a picture of it on the boat. It was one of these blue crates. It belonged to somebody named Indira. I could even tell you what they were floating on, but it was not a life jacket. It was one of those wooden boxes, but inside it was lined with this styrofoam, like, that spray foam. That's what gave it buoyancy, and that's what saved those people's life. Between that, some buckets and other things that floated up. And where did that float from? It was not the middle deck. It was a box that was on the floor with the vehicles. That's what ended up saving some of those people's life. And what does the person I made to understand that made the first phone call to say the boat was going down, right? Let we get into it. What else is of importance? So I made to understand, Mr. Minister Edgel, right, that there is an engineer that survived, and it seems y'all want to imprison him or charge him because he knows so much, and he is one of the engineer that complained multiple times about the vessel. So y'all left the man alone, right? Just like you should have left the other crew alone. But let me ask a couple questions, right? So I made to understand that every Monday, like when this vessel returns, a report is prepared, because when the engineer go and he see all the slackness and strippiness, the pipe corrode, they patch this hole with cement and sugar, they do this strippiness, this deck porous, is all, they have logbooks. Where the logbooks for the MV Barima? These things are meticulously written down. And I made to understand that guy Dellon in particular, some of those people are very meticulous. They would have write down all these things, and this would have been presented in a report every Monday, right, by a man named Mr. Erskine, right? Mr. Erskine, please come to the front of the class so that you could confirm you was providing these reports on the deficiencies, right, of the MV Barima with regularity, and they were being.
Wow. These developments, these updates, I'm telling you, so striking. When we get here, we're going on right here, Please and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thumbs up the live. So persons all over the globe gonna get to understand what really taking place in Guyana. Please and thank you.
Being ignored by the subject minister, right? No, it gets more disturbing because apart from submitting all of these reports about the boat failing, right? These boats, and no transport boat, I made to understand, has what is called a storeroom. Now, here's what's the importance of a storeroom, guys. A storeroom in a boat is where you're going to keep certain spare parts in case the vessel runs into problems while it's traveling on the open sea. You go into the storeroom, and that's where you get spare part, a spare clamp, a spare screw, a spare. So MV Barima is one of those boats that had no spare room. It had no spare parts at all on the vessel. So even for a clamp, I was told the word MacGyver was used a number of times in the conversation. You had to be like MacGyver. So even if you needed a clamp for something that broke, you have to get some bicycle tubing or something and hold it together until you could make it to Kaituma. I was told on many occasions the problem was so bad that parts would have to be flown. Parts would have to be flown from Georgetown all the way to Kaituma to repair that boat because it would break down so often on the journey up. And the only way to bring it back down is to fly the parts up there. They didn't have no spares and equipment on board, right? Now, I'm told that MacCorp are in charge, and MacCorp, we're going to bring you into this, whether you got to call your parent company if y'all refuse to respond to the questions we're going to come to you with. But we're made to understand MacCorp is in charge of diagnostics and repairs to these vessels. And MacCorp would have written off the engines for the Barima, the Northcote, and the Kimbia, and refused to fix them any longer because they were way past their serviceable lifespan. I would love some confirmation or denial from MacCorp on that point. But the allegations go further to say that there are certain unscrupulous staff that may be attached to MacCorp because they have the special machine that's come and do the little diagnostics for the engine. And it appears there's some people that work in for MacCorp that would still go to the MV Barima and do these diagnostics and provide a receipt from MacCorp or an invoice, and they'll get some under the table payment system that really seems to deserve investigation. You know, because babies drown because of corruption. We should really investigate it. But that's the allegation being made by Transport and Harbor staff. Mind you, the people working at Transport and Harbors are terrified right now because some of the main witnesses that could sink the minister and these officials are being fired, sent home, gotten rid of, people terrified for their jobs, right? So they could barely squeak to speak out. But I'm made to understand after MacCorp wrote off these engines, other people alleged to be from MacCorp somehow came into possession of receipt and invoice and things from MacCorp and would collecting payment on the hand from the ministry. Now, it's funny because instead of taking this vessel into dry dock as it was supposed to, because there was a tender document issued, a bid, an invitation for bids in March 2026, after the vessel was supposedly dry docked in 2024 for repairs that allegedly cost $90 million. So here we are, March 2026, extensive problems on the MV Barima and the MV Militia. No evidence that it was placed into dry dock again. Instead, I made to understand Transport and Harbors had ordinary staff, people like carpenters and ordinary welders and stuff. People have no shipbuilding experience and no right touching or repairing a ship. Those were the people that were patching the boat when they had the, and that's how now when they had little holes in the hull and stuff. Well, this is not up top Ustad shipbuilder. A man know but cement and sugar. A man.
There's the kind of worthlessness we're going on with all the wealth that the country got, with all of the infrastructure and investment that persons would have already made in these infrastructures. $1 trillion budgets for years. Yeah, we're going on for yourself, Delta9 travelers. I'm telling you. We ask ourselves as we analyze what's going on with this tragedy, why and how come these things weren't prevented?
I mix a little cement and sugar thing and patch the vessel. Patch. I even know y'all have a man by the name of we named Mr. Sampson. He had a very interesting first name. The windshield or something. Theophilus. It's a bad name. Mr. Sampson. Well, Mr. Sampson did nothing wrong, but I'm trying to get in touch with Mr. Sampson. If any of you have his contact, I made to understand he's another gentleman that did a significant amount of welding on the boat and patching as one of the only persons that could do that kind of work in Port Kaituma. And he would have extensive knowledge of the problems on the MV Barima, right? So you had workers allegedly that have no training or qualification. People like carpenter, mason and things, fixing a boat that's supposed to go to the sea. The boat have no spare parts on it. The boat life jacket inaccessible. Even the minister admit that it didn't have enough life jacket for the number of people they intended to carry on it. The minister also admitted that the boat was overloaded because he seemed to have conflated gross tonnage with dead weight. And he gave a number next to the gross tonnage of the vessel at 284.
The boat was not overloaded by passengers or by cargo.
Right? I found that
there was no engine problem or any mechanical problem,
which means he was well over the tonnage. Right? Now, the tarpaulin was also allegedly down on the vessel, which basically guaranteed many people would die. Like where? And the captain wasn't even on shift. So how did those 5 people get charged for murder? Right? It gets more interesting. So, well, I would love to hear from Macorp on that, right? But then it gets worse. So there's also a man I made to understand that was at Transport and Harbors, and his name is Mr. Stefan Skettel. Well, I didn't get the name how it come across. It sounded like the people say your last name is Skettel. I didn't want to just come out and say it, but this is a search for the truth. If your last name is Skettel, it's Skettel. So Mr. Skettel, if I spell it wrong, please let me know. I'm not insulting nobody. Mr. Skettel, I made to understand, is the traffic manager, right? Now, the traffic manager is in charge of one of the people that get charged for murder and all the staff except for the mariners, right? The mariners, Mr. Erskine is in charge of them. The same man that's prepared the report that they seem to have not seen about all the problems on the MV Barima before it had to sink, right? So Mr. Skettel, the traffic manager, so they charge his subordinates, right? But they sent home this traffic manager because, again, anybody that seemed able to give evidence against the minister or any officials, he gets sent home. Now, this traffic manager, he gets sent home, but you see, under him, they have inspectors. Now, these inspectors just go and double check. They have a system at Transport and Harbors where they go and double check the ticket, the freight, right? So they issue something called a deck freight note, which is they'll go and verify the cargo. You say you got 6 bags, they check 6 bags, 6 bags go on the boat. So there's the people that fall under the traffic manager, right? Was a key man in the investigation. He's a man could tell you who call and say overload the boat, put extra thing. He can get the WhatsApp message. He can say, your minister, tell me this at this person, tell me that. They send him home on administrative leave immediately after this accident happened. But it get more interesting. So I made to understand they have 2 people what is do this inspection, you know, go and check the ticket and the freight and stuff. And the names that have been given to me, allegedly, one of them is called Michelle Reed. And allegedly, the next person name is Volda Willis. Now, allegedly, Miss Volda Willis, she's one of the people that was supposed to check the freight and ticket and double check these things. So arguably, supposedly supposed to be one of the people in jail because they even lock up people that wasn't on the boat for murder. So you would expect they would have, the net would include some of these people, but I made to understand that Ms. Volda Willis is a member of the minister's congregation, because you know he's not just a minister, but he's also a bishop. So Volda Willis is a member of One Edge's congregation. Someone even referred to her, not someone, a few people referred to her as Edge's daughter-in-law. So I was made to understand, I don't know if it's a current relationship or a past relationship, but she was allegedly in a relationship with one of his sons for some time. And she's a member of his congregation. And she ended up being one of the inspectors that's supposed to be inspecting the MV Barima under the traffic manager. So they sent home the traffic manager on administrative leave, Stefan Shettel. And then somehow, one of the inspectors who was supposed to be inspecting that boat to make sure it didn't go overloaded or without too many people on the manifest, she somehow ended up getting promoted to acting traffic manager.
Wow.
I mean, I'd love if Mr. Ejo would come and just say that I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. But it seemed like the woman who was supposed to be inspecting, verifying, whatever, she get promoted, and the man who they got the evidence and whatever, they send him home. So by the time the commission of inquiry shape up to ask the traffic manager any questions, well, he's no longer there. Who is there? One of Edge's congregation members and close associates. Put it in the last.
There we have it. What are your views, Delta9 travelers? We all think about what Honorable Mr. Bailey was highlighting about some of what's taking place with the MV Barima. Some of the details, I'm telling you. Things that we hope get into this commission of inquiry, things that we hope would help to lead to persons really dealing with those that are really culpable, you know. No scapegoating and them kind of thing like we see going on right now. You know?
And justice for those who lost their lives in the we were at
Now the poll question of the day. Big up yourself to Barnell for dropping. You see what I was telling you? Insights has come from the travelers, yeah. Insights has come from you, the persons that are part of the live, the chat. So when I see Barnell drop a question like this, I say, hey, the question there is a powerful question. There's a question that I would like to see what persons globally think about Doride. Let me make the question the poll question. Big up yourself, Barnell. And thanks for bringing that insight into the live, right? And thanks for being a frequent traveler right here on Delta9 Media. If the oil rig sunk, would the government take so long to refloat it? That's the poll question for this live presentation. What y'all think? If the oil rig went down, would the government take so long to refloat it? Yes or no? 50% say yes, 50% is saying no. What are your views, Delta9 travelers? Drop it in the comment section, call it in, be a part of the poll question that's going on right now. For this live, recently, I don't know how many persons had a chance to catch everything that's going on, but Dr. Campbell is highlighting this.
At the protest at Hope Town, protesting President Irfan Ali at Hope Town. And the protest, our focus was on justice for those who lost their lives in the Barima tragedy. Justice for those who, because of inadequate search and rescue capability, had to spend 6 to 7 hours floating around in the Atlantic Ocean. Justice for the 3 crew members who have been made scapegoats and have had unjust murder charges laid against them. The president, interestingly, came out with a video and said the people of Hopetown chose progress over protest. And the most interesting part of the video is sitting right up front is Nigel Darmlal. And Nigel Darmlal is part of the reason that we traveled to West Berbice today. And we were able to visit a concrete operation where we know is operated by Greenway Distributors. And Greenway Distributors is owned by Monica Shiri Sharma, who is the ex-wife of Nigel Darmlal. Interestingly, as we go through the documents, this was a company formed just in 2020, clearly after the election, and it would not be a jump to come to the conclusion that this was a company formed to take advantage of the PPP's return to power. And take advantage it seemingly has, because what we have heard from the people in Region 5 is that this company is the contractors, every infrastructure project, contractors are ordered, they are ordered to get all of the concrete from this Greenway Distributors. But the folks in Region 5, they don't seem to know anything at all about Monica Shiri Sharma. What they say is that the concrete goes to a company owned and operated by, allegedly owned and operated by Darmlal. And Monica Shiri Sharma, as I said, is the ex-wife of Nigel Darmlal. And we've taken a look at the accounts. In 2022, this company had net assets of around $40 million or something. And by 2026, from our estimates, from what we have looked and assessed as the assets that we have seen there at that location, and I want to remind the viewers that this is a location hidden behind Anvawak. It's not on the road. You travel on the road, you won't know that this is going on. You have to go deep into Anvawak to find where Greenway Distributors are operating. And our estimates is that this company, between 2022 and 2026, has grown the assets over
1.1 billion in 2026.
There are questions to be answered here. There are questions to be answered by the regional authority. Is it true that for every infrastructure contract, the contractors are directed to take the concrete from Greenway Distributors? I put this question today to Mr. Jafar Ali, who is the regional chairman, and he raised his hand like this, turned his back on me, and walked away. It wasn't that he didn't know, but by walking away, it was clear that Mr. Jafar Ali did not want to engage with this particular subject. Now, there are questions about whether, again, is Monica the real operator? As I said before, friends of Monica don't even know that she's in business. As far, the last thing I heard is Monica is working on an IDB contract. So if it's not Monica, is Monica the beneficial owner? Monica is on record as the owner, but is she the beneficial owner? A question arises, is it that Nigel Darmlal, or ex-husband, is the beneficial owner? And is it, and he was there, he obviously has a connection to Region 5. He was there, sitting in the front row today. All of these things, Jafar Ali turning his back and walk away when I asked the question, and Nigel Darmlal, the president, boasting, oh, the people have chosen progress over protest with Nigel Darmlal there. And we know he has an oversized influence in Region 5. He's sitting there. The question that we must ask, is Nigel Darmlal the beneficial owner? And is he using his political influence in Region 5 to direct contracts, the purchase of concrete for all the infrastructure projects from Greenway distributors? And even if he is not the beneficial owner and Monica is the beneficial owner, is he directing those contracts towards Monica?
Unity or else, more of the same. The recent history of success for the PNC, APNU, came via coalition, came via unity in the opposition. At least unity enough to put them in the position of leadership. Right? Unity or else, more of the same. Big up yourself to Honorable Dr. Campbell. Always out and about the people's work. Right? Now, there's some persons that might have different sentiments about some of what we just heard right there. We're going to hear from them right now.
A natural way to stay ready, baby. 'Cause I'm ready for you, Mr. C. The ultimate male supplement, men's total wellness formula, packed with essential nutrients for men's health. She'll call you Mr. C.
Our first executive president, prime minister. And if you may recall, I think today is his death anniversary. Today is his death anniversary. 41st death anniversary. So the president, this is so historical. I think it missed the opposition. These dim bulbs. These dumb bulbs. These dim bulbs. That today in Melanie, on the death anniversary of the founder leader of the PNC, these dim bulbs chose to protest an initiative in the village of his daughter to transform the village of his daughter. I don't know what the PNC has come to. I don't know what they've come to. But they're running behind Win, the Poopsie party, and the dotishness. They're running behind the Poopsie party and the dotishness that they've forgotten themselves. So you protesting this, and I see you gotta analyze these things. You gotta put them into context. And I'm saying this is the weakest opposition in the history of Guyana. And I know what I'm saying, and I'm sure I'm proving it. I ain't just talking. I'm not just talking. I'm giving you the evidence, the proof. I'm giving you the proof that they've forgotten their history. Now, Terence Campbell should have been in the mausoleum. The pussy should have been at the mausoleum. You see me? That's where he should have been. At the mausoleum. Not stopping the president from bringing development to black people, a black village. That's what the PNC did today, following the Poopsie party, who have no history, zero legacy, zero, nothing. In Forbes Barnum Data Village, the president is saying, look, I want to transform this village. I want to make this one of the, now there are 23 villages. Understand this. The president has set out 23 villages. He had to choose Melanie. The BBC again had to choose Melanie. They could, all the villages will be made into model villages at some point in time. So we can't say that, oh, you're not going to be a model village.
It has been alleged that Bond received some 60 million from each of them. The lease were controversial since they were in contravention of the stipulation regarding the disposal of state lands, which stipulate that when state lands are leased, the lease must state that the leasee must not part with possession of the land without the consent of the state. However, in this case, let me read it. However, in this case, both Life One Pharma Incorporated and AZ Pharmaceutical Medical Supply and Equipment Inc., which each leased 15 acres of land from NISIL at an annual rate of $11,700 US, flipped those land to Chinese national for just over $100 million. In the case of Arkan Group, the proprietor of the company leased 20.8 acres of land for an annual fee of $16,224 US. And others are just listed as the same. Listen to this case, let me read this back. The Arkan Group, the proprietor of that company, leased 20.8 acres of land for an annual fee of $16,224 US. And add his address listed as the same as Bond's. So he and Bond had the same address. It was revealed that Bond then received $1 million US for the property after it was flipped to a local oil and gas company. And I have a footnote here. In late 2020, the Special Organized Crime Unit, SOCU, and the Guyana Police Force began investigating the matter after receiving 3 case files from Attorney General Anin Landalal SC concerning the suspicious leases over several acres of prime state land at Peter's Island. Yeah, I get it just now. You see what you're digging up? And I did some research this morning. Those matters are still pending. They are still pending. So Bond is doing everything now to try to lick BT and to push his nose. He is going to, let me tell you, his nose is so far up the PPP ass that he's going to die from asphyxiation. And he might not, it's not asphyxiation, ass. You know asphyxiation, what you spell it? ASYPH. He is ASS. He's going to die from asphyxiation. His nose is so far up the PPP ass that is 11 marks. His cheeks are leaving marks on the butt. That is what. But he's desperate. He is desperate because he end up 3 charges. And as I've said, Bond, this thing happened so long, and they're not going to clear you until you lick more, you know. Let me understand this. Because you might have expected that since you switch, by now.
And that's a show the maturity of the politics of the PPP. They could have, if the PPP hated the PNC and hated Afro-Guyanese, they would have said, you know something, this is Barnum in this village after that, but we not come there, by. We'll go somewhere else. Then we go somewhere else. But no. Share the damn life, man. This opposition is. Let them share the life. You jump on, share the life. They come to Forbes Barnum party. The daughter, a village he named after his daughter, a village built by cooperativism. And the president of this country, Granger never go Melanie. Granger never go Melanie. And start no model village in Melanie. And develop Melanie. And say they're going to do roads and lights and parapet and plant tree. And get a big place space. PNC never go Melanie after Barnum. and do nothing. Everything fall apart. And here you have President Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali.
Ended the same way. The charge against Ashmi Singh and Brassington, right away, but you there licking Batty for so long, and then doing away with the charge. And this is the bond, you know. This is the same bond. Back in some years ago, look what the PVP did to him. This is what the PVP, they're shooting the back. They're shooting, there's James Bond we see there. I can't remember the exact year that this happened. I think Dana Ramata might have been the president. They're shooting the back, right? And then he happened. Then when Azuddin start to show some political inclinations, look, he holding an umbrella for he holding an umbrella over Azuddin. This man is a grasshopper, you know. And no insultment to grasshopper. That's what he's doing. So PVP shooting the back. He was very vocal and all this type of thing against them. Now he holding an umbrella for Azuddin. Now he gone with PVP. But as the people say, you never trust a turncoat. You never trust a turncoat. So he might have expected something bigger when the PVP returned to office in last year. But they give you a little MP work. They give you a little MP. Right? Some people say MP is member of parliament. Some people say something else. A main, the M is for main. Y'all decide what the P is for. James Bond. So yesterday, James Bond came out. Or as the president would say, he came in out. Man, I've ordered that prostitute, man. I said James Bond is a political prostitute.
That foolishness is inexplicable, but it's only logical. It's only logical that I left. You think I could follow these jackasses, brother? You feel like I run behind people like Terence Campbell, Saiku, Sherrod, Dexter Todd? You feel like I want to be in the company, brother? On a day like today, on an auspicious occasion, understand the context of history. That look, the found the leader dead today, this is village. Boy, don't let me protest these people. Not today, boy. This is found the leader dead, this is village. This initiative is a good initiative. Let us come to them black people. They don't want nothing good for black people. I'm going to show you why. Why didn't that pussy, Terence Campbell, and the rest of them go to Good Hope and protest? Why did they go to Good Hope and protest? Why did they go to Monrepo and protest? Why did they go to Enmore and protest?
Fire, burn me on. Fire, burn me on. Y'all know that? Them young people ain't gonna know that. Friday afternoon and back in the day when I go to school. Not like now, school children fighting every day. Back in the day, you had your problems during the course of the week. The fighting used to take place on Friday afternoon after school. And then the combatants will square up. And everybody used to say they're granning. You know, you're granning. Nobody ever have a show no punch. So what used to happen now? One of the instigators will pick up a piece of brick or something, come, fire, burn me on. Fire, burn me on. And whoever you're supposed to.
On the East Coast, that had a model village native by the president, that is predominantly Afro-Guyanese, and protests. They want to stop it. They want to block it up. They don't want nothing good to come to black people. And people are questioning, James Bond, how you left these people? How you left them? Why? Am I stupid? Am I stupid? I spent how much years studying? You feel like I could follow some jackasses, brother? You think I run behind these people, buddy? And look at something. If you look at the support these people get in, when I used to protest, brother, when I used to protest, we had doctors in the protest, lawyers in the protest, teachers in the protest, nurses in the protest, vendors in the protest. You name it, we had it in the protest. No, them protesting by themselves. And want people to pay for coming and protest with them. Nobody from the business community, nobody from civil society, nobody but themselves protesting. Now this party is supposed to they representing black people. You representing black people in Afro-Guyanese. Yet, the member of parliament, which is Afro-Guyanese and black, in an Afro-Guyanese village and a black village, you choose for assault, verbally assault. Like tell Terrence Campbell something, brother man, you getting safe over, you got life like a cat. I can tell you this straight. You got life like a cat. And you gotta thank God that you got life like a cat. This is the second time I'm saving you. Forget about, oh, you feel you could. And I tell you, if you look at the video good, Terrence Campbell is a how do I put it? You could see he's scared. He's scared because I've been in physical altercations on more than one. If you check me record, I got there's a record that you could Google.
There's not nothing good. There's not nothing to boast about that you went in physical altercations. Why these always think that, them thing is bragging rights and it's never good. Because you open yourself to blows and that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. You just saying, rest your mouth. You're encouraging nonsense. Big up yourself. Thanks for being a part of this live presentation. People analyzing what's going on, Paying attention to the details. Is unity or else more of the same? Yeah, what Honorable Dr. Campbell was highlighting. Then we get a chance to hear what Honorable Mr. Ban had to say. Right? We get a chance as well, right now, to hear from the President himself highlighting certain details about what's going on with the new initiatives. Right now in the focus. And then we still got to get into the details from the ground that went down recently with the protests that was held by the opposition.
An initiative that is geared not only at transforming your community physically, but transforming the way we think, the way we behave, the way we act, the way we treat animals, the way we treat the environment, the way we live in our neighborhood, the type of love and support we demonstrate for each other. So today's presentation is much more than physical infrastructure. It is about creating a community and a space where respect, dignity, honor, pride, justice, services, all intersect to give you a quality of life that you can enjoy in any civilized society. And many of you, when you travel to Georgetown, you'll remark whether your community can have this or whether your community can have that. Today, we're going to demonstrate to you our government, your government commitment to building equitable baseline services across urban, suburban, and rural communities across our country. And you would also know that your community is different from many other communities. You have an intersection of...
How you doing, so, brother?
Good so far, man. Can't complain. How's everything on your side?
I hear listening and enjoying the show.
Yeah, man.
Here what happened. Now, I'm going to hit some of these people where they're going to get a little upset. With this scene with Terrence Campbell and James Van, right?
Mm.
Now, I can twist this thing now and let people make sense to me.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
They say Mohammed was part of the PPP, right?
Mm.
And he's still part of the PPP, right? And he put there to break up the PNC and he's still with them, right? So now we talking about James Bond. So I guess James Bond now, he was so close and stood up and beat down the PPP, right?
Yeah.
The PPP, that's like a couple years back when I know I used to go home and they used to run red. Sometimes we get in the club police come and shut him down and all these things, and everything got shut down, can't make no bread. You rent the place, you gotta give back people part of the money and all these things, right? So that means this thing with Ian Campbell the other day might be fake, so because he was part of the APNU and he's still a part of the APNU, you could say that too. Because you gotta get jacket. You understand what I'm saying now?
Okay.
You got me?
Yeah.
You gotta get
So
jacket.
two can play the game.
Alright, so people gotta be careful, bro. I had friends that me and them was so good friends, and today me and them don't move. We don't chat, we don't say nothing. I done because of what it is.
Yeah.
And I didn't like, I stopped talking to friends when I walk up in the apartment, they get the all drugged up ready for beat, and I just let the girl they go and I walk there and I never say nothing to them until today.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
A man could have a change of soul and heart, bro, and mind.
Business.
Because from what he see, we could only say what we want to say about Mohammed. And if you want to say that about Mohammed, well, then put all the APNU that's with PPP right now and say they're still part of the APNU. They're just there with the PPP to feed the APNU information. But you understand, they behaving now with the APNU, towards the APNU, like how Mohammed behaving with the PPP party. So it makes sense. You see, this is not a black thing with me or a race thing. I'm calling it from our state. James Bond was given to submission because he liked to stand up, be this big man, look like now we guys play. You go for rent it, right? Give me a minute. And when you go for rent, right? He's still keeping the main bar in the middle of the place and he can set up a bar at the back. So God try with the bar at the back. And sometimes some of the people them who I know do the party, they don't make nothing at the back. The main thing is the bar that's making the money is the one in the center of the place. You see how these guys think? Them is a hustler. Them is man would sell them other for $1. So they show you. They will sell their soul for something. Bro, don't matter how much I suffering, bro. You can never let me sell my dignity, bro. Because my destiny is made by me and me only. Nobody let me change my destiny to do them. Because of money. No way. And then ready for beat down your brother, them that you used to lie, voila. You see, you could have killed them too. Bro, I did it.
Ambush in the night. I'm telling you.
Tell you.
Ambush in the night, Delta9 travelers.
This is commercial activity, residential activity, and we have to build a support system, build a mechanism that would ensure all of these facilities coexist, but coexist without affecting people and affecting each other. And many of you know that you would complain about the spray paint shop, the mechanic shop, the noise nuisance, the animals in the community. So all of those things, we want to work on creating a holistic environment, an enabling environment that would allow the peaceful coexistence of people in the community. This program is about...
The current president in the history of Guyana, President Irfan Ali, is visiting communities to promote his so-called model village initiative to divert attention from the biggest national tragedy affecting Guyanese with more than 100 lives lost. But after 30 years in office, the PPP should identify one model community they have built. Let me take the liberty to answer: none. Not one community has been built with all the basic amenities, including electricity, water, roads, drainage, green spaces, well-kept parapets, or community grounds. Instead of completing the countless failed community,
in another 2 weeks from now, the very ministers sitting here, Sonia, Nigel, and of course, Minister Zulfikar Ali, the regional chair, vice chair, other leaders, your member of parliament, they will be coming back to you to discuss the opportunities under the Guyana Development Bank, because that is the next phase of development. We want to put you in clusters. And right here, as I was coming along the road, I was saying to myself, I speak to myself a lot. I was saying to myself that if we can bring the small young people together and create these massive hydroponics houses so that they can come together in a cluster and have one of those hydroponic facilities, they will make more money and they will not be susceptible to the weather and other kind of problems that they have. So these are the things we
remain neglected. Residents in new developments are still waiting for better roads, electricity, street lights, proper drainage, and access to potable water.
Price new scheme, this is the road condition. The village don't have water already, no current. Look at the road condition.
In many of these failed communities, vehicles are being destroyed because of the poor state of the roads, and the nation's children are still forced to bathe using trench water.
This is where we live. This is the water where we have to use for wash clothes, wash wares, and so on. Bathe. We get itching from the skin with the water. The water really nasty.
This government must stop chasing headlines and start fixing what already exists. Complete the housing schemes. Many paid for house lots and have yet to see them. The PPP fails to deliver basic infrastructure promised for years, yet they rush to launch another grand project as a major distraction tactic from Irfan's farm and the Barima tragedy that took the lives of over 100 Guyanese. Thousands of Guyanese receive house lots that are swamplands. Families are then forced to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars just to make the land usable. A single truckload of sand now costs about $55,000 and more in some instances. The government continues to control access to many of the country's sand pits. At the same time, the cost of construction materials continues to rise, making home ownership even more difficult.
Right here in Anvawa, we started the prawns project. Today you're seeing how that project is expanding. And just after midnight last night, I was talking to the Minister of Agriculture, and we're talking about how we can take some more land there and have young people and women be involved in the prawns expansion that is taking place there. Those are the things that we have to find. I asked Kevin Samad to look at the sea, the riverfront, the sea defenses, and to see the reserves, what we can create, and how we can create those reserves to enable the community to have greater life, greater energy, greater productivity, greater social spaces. We want your children to be able to play in a safe environment. We want your grandparents and the elders, your parents, to walk the parks in dignity and honor. We want a village where families can grow and support each other, where families can have a quality of life. Your children and you, when your wife and your children go out to the park, you must know that they're safe. There's good lighting, security infrastructure, hydrants to take care of the community in case of a fire. We want security system that work for the people. So the security system that is integrated in the life of the community. So today, we are here to have this discourse with you. And as Minister said, over the last couple of months, we have had engineers, planners, architects, all coming into your community, looking at the challenges, and they have brought some proposals that we want to share with you. So you can share your own ideas, your own challenge. You can tell us what you think we should look at. And we know once we have large gatherings like these, that you will have people with personal problems. That is why we have all of the agencies here. Ministry of Human Services, you have a pension problem. You have a public assistance problem.
Fear. But who has the power to bring the relevant stakeholders together and push for meaningful action? Reducing the cost of airfare or housing materials doesn't suit the president and his rich friends. They are getting richer as the prices increase. How can the government speak about creating model villages when there is a housing backlog of more than 50,000 applicants? The government should also explain why projects such as Silica City continue to receive so much attention while basic services in existing communities remain inadequate. Guyanese do not need another publicity campaign. They need functioning communities. Residents have also raised concerns about the consultation process itself. This was not genuine consultation. The president largely came to announce what the government had already decided. There was no opportunity for meaningful engagement or for residents to influence the outcome. Consultation means listening to the people, not simply speaking to them. Across the country, families are living on small lots in overcrowded developments. Roads are so narrow that drivers must pull into corners to allow another vehicle to pass. Yet the government wants to speak about model communities. Instead of focusing on unfinished work and deteriorating infrastructure, the government continues to launch new initiatives designed to distract from its failures. Failures like the Barima tragedy and failed ministers Ejil and Indar are still on the job. We will never forget the worst national tragedy that affected Guyanese. Over 100 lives were lost, some still missing under the Atlantic Ocean, and they come to pacify their failures with a whimsical model community. We also call on the international community to pay close attention. Development is not measured by fancy headlines. It is measured by whether people have a better standard of living and easier access to services. The Guyanese people do not need another slogan. They do not need another launch. They need a government that finishes what it starts, fixes what is broken, and puts people before publicity stunts. The Barima went down on the 18th of July. 16 days later, Irfan launches this fairy tale community to divert your attention to something else. The PVP is done mourning
issues. You will go down there and give them your personal issue. And whilst you're asleep at 1, 2 in the morning, they will collate all of those issues and send it on a dashboard. And I will see every issue there so we can follow up on all of your issues. All right? So we have two things that will go on, the personal issues and the community issues. I want to thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your time with me. And I'm most grateful and honored to be here.
What are your views, Delta9 travelers, as we analyze the headlines right now and everything that's trending in Guyana and in the diaspora? Well, listen, there's a lot going on with ICE and all kind of thing that we got analyzing. ICE is going crazy right now in the US, and it's summertime. It's summertime and ICE is going crazy. We're going to get into some of those international headlines, things that will definitely eventually affect everything that's going on the ground as well. Big up to all the travelers right now. Who's in the chat with us? Who is in the chat? Andrew, what's going on? Big up yourself. Welcome into the live. John is saying Guyanese continue to struggle. Each Guyanese should be given $1 million as a grant annually from the oil funds. I'm telling you, I heard a conversation And a lot of persons were saying it's not sustainable, this, that, and the third. A lot of different conversations persons would arose about that one, John. But I'm sure that a lot of we would agree to that venture right there. One, because as we look at this small amount of benefit that we do receive, we gotta ask ourselves, with better negotiation and with these resources reaching the country, that might definitely be something to do, you know. Cool question of the day. If the oil rig sunk, would the government take so long to refloat it? 21% is saying yes. 79% says no. Both would have done float long now. Right? Oil rig would have done float long now. So it means we could see how they're treating it like business as usual. What are the biggest return on investment? Obviously, from the bottom line of the spreadsheet, they're going to say the oil rig. So you could see that that rightly would be the thing to raise first. But then as we analyze it, what about the human life, 100 plus persons, right? Business as usual. And we could look at how these things progress and realize just how persons are analyzing and really dealing with these matters, you know? Big up to all of the frequent travelers live with us right now. Saturday live, a whole lot of mix up going on right now as well, locally. Should we jump into that first, or should we jump into international headlines first? Let's jump into some of these.
The question is, do you have a duty, a responsibility, or any sort of obligation to open your door? Do you have an obligation to open? Let's get to the nitty-gritty of it. Let's say there's a knock on your door. Police, police, or ICE, ICE, open up, open up. The question is, do you have a duty, a responsibility, or any sort of obligation to open your door? Do you have an obligation to open your door? And I'll give you a hint. America's constitution or legacy or history states that your home, and all over the world, your home is your castle. Even if you live in a bamboo hut, your home is your castle. Even if you live in a garage, your home is your castle. Your home is sacred. Your home is sacrosanct. Even if your trailer park is your home, it is your home. It is classified as your living quarters. There are rights attaching to that. There are rights under the Constitution. The right to privacy, the right to your home, the right from interference, the right from discrimination, all these great rights. Read the U.S. Constitution. Buy a copy and keep it with you anywhere you go. Just like how you would keep a copy, coming back to immigration, of your ID. Always keep a copy of your ID, copy of your passport if you don't have ID, get the New York City ID, copy of whatever shows that you are, Tom Singh or Bhagwati Matar, whatever you may be, whoever you may be, have that form of ID. Your IDs must be consistent. The moment you have IDs saying 2 different names and 3 different names, they can say that's fraud. That's a quick time, they would ship you out. They would deport you for fraud. Or as much as your name Bhagwati or Dali in another country, have consistent ID. A lot of people have different names. They change their names. You understand? They use shortened forms. They use call names. And it's on the documents. Try to avoid that. Try to have a consistent legal name you use and stick to in America. Even if it's an any name, be proud of your name. I know of a lady named Mindrawati. Mindrawati, ashamed of her name, such as say, my name Mindra. Call me Mindra. I mean, why should you be ashamed of your name? Why should you be ashamed of your legacy? Those names have meanings. There were book names given by the Hindus. Be proud of your name. One other man got some name, Jaipal or whatever his name, and he said, call him Paul. Okay, you feel Paul sound more like Americanized. So, brothers and sisters, whatever your name is, stick to it. That's the hard and fast of this rule here. You stick to your name, whatever your name is. Names are by which you are differentiated, and be proud of your name. So you have a consistent ID. Coming back to this knock on your door, knock, knock, police, ICE, immigration, billing department. What do you do, brothers and sisters? What are your rights? What are your rights under the Constitution of this great country? How much do we know about your rights in this great country? But let's get to that. You don't have to open your door. I was at the senior center and I was very impressed. All those seniors, they knew about these rights. They knew. Said, we're not going to open that door. No. And you must think about this. Amazon come, they deliver it, right? They don't knock your door and talk about open up and or so, right? So you know Amazon will leave this stuff. Most people have a camera. They can look in the camera and see who's there. And sometimes ICE does not come with a big sign marking ICE. ICE does not come to your home with a big sign mark ICE or DHS, Department of Homeland Security, or police, or law enforcement, or FBI, or DEA. They do not come with a big tag.
Guardian, listen to this. Just listen. I want to know listening here because I say, "Uno can't hear they are asleep on this administration. Uno wake up after this primary. We are somehow we are gonna shit break. You hear me, guys? Wanna check out this video? You hear me? Uno listen good.
I just want to make one thing clear. If you're here under temporary protective status and you came in this country between the years 2021 and 2025, you're gone. If you overstayed a visa, you're gone. If a state illegally gives you a driver's license or a social security card because these left-wing states are trying to create voters, you're gone. You're not legal. If anybody came here outside the legal channel of legal immigration in any way, shape, or form under Joe Biden, he broke not only constitutional, but also immigration law in order for you to get here. You're not here legally. The whole claim that this man up in Maine was not the subject of the deportation order and he was here legally, well, there's two things about that. If he wasn't the subject of the deportation order, then why the hell was he trying to use his car to run into another ICE agent? Just like Renee Good.
Listen.
If he really wanted to...
Businesses, many in South Florida, are now considering shutting their doors. Customers are scarce following fears of deportation, and a recent increase in ICE arrests has sparked more activity at a Miramar detention facility. Here's Christian De La Rosa.
Monday, ICE picked up someone right in the corner of my restaurant, right here.
In the middle of Northeast 54th and 2nd Avenue in Little Haiti. The video already gone viral, already giving his restaurant a bad rap.
And now you're giving people the impression it's not even safe to come to my business.
The expiration of temporary protected status for Haitians had already hit Wilkinson Sejour, better known as Chef Creole, hard. Some of his best staff are gone.
I lost 7.
The typical line of customers in cars around lunch hour also gone.
This is too much food here right now.
We're hearing the same stories from Haitian-owned businesses in Miramar. Barbers telling us it's been mostly empty for days.
If there's nobody coming in at the store, he won't be able to make money at all.
The manager at this lunch spot next door telling us they might have to close shop.
Sad. It's really sad.
Local government officials and activists have been warning the impact of losing TPS Haitian workers will go well beyond Haitian businesses.
This is a processing center, and they are taking people here.
Immigration activists are also worried an influx of ICE operations targeting Haitians could impact conditions at federal detention facilities they claim are already concerning. Back at Chef Creole, Sejour wishes there was a different way.
Just take a little bit more time and let's try to figure out how we can fix this without it hurting our economy as a whole.
The Trump administration continues.
Immigration, one of them big issues touching locally in Guyana and overseas as well. One of the big issues that we're dealing with on this side. I want to big up everybody that's in the chat right now. I see a number of frequent travelers with us, and there's a lot of persons definitely voicing their views in the chat. Big up to all of those dropping those insightful comments in the comment section. There was a whole lot of back and forth. Some of it because of the protesting that was going on. Some of it because of other beef that was going on between Lola and one of GT biggest DJ. Different kind of life. As we jump back on the local trending headlines.
Hub portray in front of the police.
Prince, sometimes you must just shut your cock hole. Like sometimes you just talk and over talk. Cause did see with Terrence, you see his band going in my face and saying, "Oh, he's up." And the man reply immediately. But let me forget about that right now, Princess. We want to know going on with you and Kwame. We want to know how long you plan on staying in Kwame house. We would like to know though. It's alleged. It's alleged. Me no truth is. Answer that for me. With all the corruption you going on with. How long are you planning on staying in by Kwame? And how long Kwame planning on sponsoring your fuckery that you doing?
I'm telling you. Questions being asked as we jump into some of these headlines. Guess what? We're going to hear from Magnum right now.
Big up to the world, big up to every supporter, big up to every hater. Watch it now. To the very host when I'm attack, man. Hey, me here show me the bombsy. Funnel BT, yeah. We did that to replace Mohammed's window. Watch this now. You know, I could have give her that door there. We could have give her that door there. We give back to Mohammed's. Hey, I mean here merchant not talk. Don't make some people come telling a lie. Because you have a lot of them standing, but them lying at the same time. And I want to know how them do it, standing and lying. It's like enough of them dead, but them still want to go live. Them still want to go live. Hey, I mean here merchant not talk. Oh, God bless you. Devil can't curse. And watch this now. I don't tell you, sir. When I in a no cat fight with the devil cheering here, because I'm a sang on it, son, here. Big up to my fans, them. You don't know my thing, man. Precise sniper. We shoot by my own timings here. Bad than that. While I'm not crazy. No style. Hey. The happy life we say now. We done it, hey. When them there studio, I sing beer fuck we are this year. This is the part. Yeah. When some girl cannot even go near them son, with amongst my son, yeah, and my son have no disease. My son fully healthy, yeah, good. Yo, beautiful Saturday, yeah, that. Big up.
Telling you. Well, if you all think that with all of the tracks that Lola would have dropped, and the usual way that she would respond, that all of that would be said and she didn't have something to say, I tell you, it was candid. So let's see how long we could play it for, because you don't know Lola's address certain things. She mightn't use the best language. And we want too much of those kind of references on the live. So we're gonna see how long we could play it for before we gotta skip it and jump into some more headlines. Let me see what's going on. So we could analyze both sides of what is right here. With the trending headlines right now on the ground.
You talking about this and the fuck you and fuck Yandy. You gotta write she fucking way for see if you could be she's fucking DJ. You stinking mother sconto.
I'm telling you, we didn't even get into a minute of it and we gotta jump off. That was enough. I feel that was like one of the most rapid succession that I hear in a long time. You can't play much more though. That was good and that was good enough. We hear what our brothers highlighted right here.
Guys, let's just take a few seconds to listen to this Kangalang Ejel speak, and I'll give my opinions right after.
I relied on the professionals and the staff of the Transport and Harbors Department, which I'm the minister responsible, to carry out their functions in keeping with their job specifications and their job descriptions. It is clear that was not done.
Ejel, you failed the Guyanese people in your duty to ensure safe and reliable public transportation. Instead of accepting accountability, it appears you're looking for a scapegoat while avoiding serious questions about your own role and responsibilities. For years, there have been concerns and allegations that the MV Barima was routinely overloaded, overcrowded, poorly maintained, suffered repeated engine failures, and operated with serious mechanical issues. Survivors have also claimed only one engine was working, forcing it to propel that vessel while making the journey longer, more difficult, and frightening for passengers. There are also allegations that cement was used to patch up cast iron, steel pipes in the engine room instead of proper marine-grade repairs. If true, these claims raise serious concerns about the vessel's seaworthiness. Maybe the reason you're not doing everything possible to bring this vessel ashore is because you're afraid of what might be uncovered and consequences that could follow. The passenger manifest also raises major question. Authority initially reported 133 on board, but the number later increased to 179, a discrepancy of 46 people. If around 30 people are still accounted for, based on what some survivors have described, my instinct tells me there may have been more than 200 people on board, with children making up a large portion of the passengers. Have the authorities followed up on every emergency hotline report from families who say their loved ones are still missing? The public deserves a complete and accurate count of every person who was on board the vessel. There are also allegations about the captain's conduct before the voyage, including reports that he may have consumed alcohol before taking command and later tested positive for marijuana. This raises serious concerns about the safety standards and oversight of the passenger vessels. Our indigenous brothers and sisters, along with every other passenger, deserve to travel in safe, dignified, and humane conditions. The Guyanese people deserve answers, accountability, and meaningful reforms to ensure a tragedy like this never happens again. If an independent investigation finds that there were failures in oversight, enforcement, maintenance, or regulation by the ministry or any other responsible authority, then those responsible, including senior officials, where appropriate, should be held accountable. Public trust can only be restored through transparency, accountability, and meaningful change. Guys, let's just take a few seconds to listen to this Kangalang Ejel speak, and I'll give my opinions right after.
Is feeling. That level of arrogance is nauseating. When you go into communities and you speak to people who have to deal with the services that are under his watch, and you hear firsthand about the failures at the Transport and Harbors Department, people buy tickets online but still have no certainty that their cargo will travel with them. Families stand in line for hours hoping and praying that the items they purchase actually make it onto the ferry. Too often, passengers are forced to travel while their luggage is left behind. How is this acceptable in 2026? Truck drivers transporting rice and other goods are still lining up as much as 2 days in advance, in the hope that they can secure space on a ferry to deliver supplies from one region to another. This is not the hallmark of a modern transportation system. It is evidence of poor management, inadequate planning, and a failure of leadership. Road projects and bridges are almost never completed on time. When they are finally finished, many begin deteriorating within months, raising serious questions about the quality of the work, the oversight exercise, and whether taxpayers are truly receiving value for the billions being spent. Delays have become the norm, cost overruns have become expected, and substandard workmanship has become tolerated. Guyanese deserve infrastructure that is built to last, not projects that require repairs almost as soon as they are commissioned. What is even more troubling is the belief that religious titles somehow shield a person from accountability. No office, no title, and certainly no position in the church should place anyone above scrutiny. Allegations of incompetence and corruption
The
must
boat
be
was not
answered,
overloaded
not
by
hidden behind
passengers
scripture
or by
or
cargo.
religious symbolism, while
There was no
broken
engine
systems continue
problem
to
or
benefit those responsible for managing them. Recently, Bishop Wanegel spoke about a venomous beast. The real beast, Bishop, is arrogance. It is the arrogance that prevents you from acknowledging the suffering of ordinary Guyanese. It is the arrogance that refuses to accept responsibility for a transportation system that has failed the people time and time again. It is the arrogance that allows you to believe you can escape accountability for decisions made under your watch, including those surrounding the tragic loss of more than 100 lives in the MV Barima disaster, many of them women and children. No public official should believe that they answer only to political leaders. Every public servant also answers to the people, and if they profess faith, ultimately to God. As a bishop, your conduct reflects not only on you, but also on the church. That is why this matters. The church must be willing to hold its own accountable. When it fails to do so, it weakens its moral authority. Instead of being a beacon of hope, a beacon of justice and righteousness, it risks becoming an institution that appears to excuse wrongdoing because of status or position. The church is called to speak truth to power, not to protect it. Accountability is not contrary to faith. It is one of its highest expressions. Maybe somebody should tell the bishop that.
Telling you, words coming in from the MP right there. What are your views, Delta9 travelers? Big up to all of those that are live right now in the chat with us. Everybody that took some time to call in, big up yourself as well. Selfish Guyana government creating all the economic activities for themselves. People analyzing it and calling it out. Analyzing it and calling it out, buddy.
Program you talking about, guys. All these things came about because the opposition leader skin up the farm and a whole lot of other corruption that Irfanadi them calling it. Not only Irfanadi, but the entire
in the global scenario that have business and their wives, they're gone into politics and the business is still running. The money is still banking in the family name.
Right.
Oh, I mean, you're splitting hairs when you're saying that how you know Irfan Ali's wife didn't say to him, but that's our business. How you gonna tell us we can't increase chicken production?
Then it so happened now they both think. So I guess he using these kind of strategy, you know, trying to shift the Guyanese people focus away from what happened on the boat. But you're like, You got it coming to you. Now, this man card now have the street where people live in, right? Who the outcast stay out. They can't even pass through the barricade for go home. You hear about people? Is that putting people first? I left for go to the market. When I come back, you reach in my village. I come, left the market or wherever I'll go.
I was very pleased to meet a lot of young people here today. This is one of the young leaders, 7-day Adventist, and he has been doing a lot of work with young people. As a matter of fact, he's one of the national youth coordinators. He brought some great ideas today about how we can use the churches and the mosques and the temples to help in single parent with their children, especially in education, social work, community work, and he's also brought some ideas on youth development. So I'm very pleased to meet you today.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm happy and I hope that the district can see it through. And with the quality of life being established and young people, they are a future, we're going to have a different society overall. Thank you.
Police officers and, you know, big barricade put up. What kind of nonsense is this going on, boy? Before AP and you come out, if an alley going on, like them, you know, just as what people say you're from the University of Eiffel, you was behaving, right? Like them backbench students for them from them primary school. Full done stuff. Now look what you doing. You used to break down AP and you barricade. You used to be going on like the most arrogant and dotish human being it got. Now you're facing with the same thing and you can't take it. People have to stop going out to your meetings and your outreach. People got start boycotting the PPP.
Who must go? Dellon and Kevin. We must go. No. When they must go. No. When they must go. No. We want them to go. No. So float the boat. Bring up the evidence. 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 Jeered the guilty. Free the innocent. Jeered the guilty. Free the innocent. Jeered the guilty. Free the innocent. Jeered the guilty. So who must go? Who must go? Who must go? Who must go? No. When they must go. No. When they must go. No. When they must go. No. Don't go. Free the innocent. Jeered the guilty. Free the innocent. Jeered the guilty. Free the innocent. Jeered the guilty. Who must go? Dellon and Kevin. 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 Float the boat. Bring up the evidence. 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 Free the innocent. Jeered the guilty. 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 Who must go? Dellon and Kevin. 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 Float the boat. Bring up the evidence. 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 Free Kevin. Free Kevin. Free Kevin. Free Kevin. Free Kevin. Free the innocent. Free Free the innocent. Hail the guilty. Free the innocent. Hail the guilty. Free the innocent. Hail the guilty. Close the vote. Bring up the evidence. Close the vote. Bring up the evidence. Close the vote. Bring up the evidence. Free Kevin. Free Kevin. Free Kevin. Rondell and Dellon. 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 Come on, free Kevin. Free Kevin. Free Kevin. Free the innocent. Free. Free the innocent. Free the innocent. Bring up the evidence. Bring up the evidence. Bring up the evidence. Bring up the evidence. Who must go? Who must go? Who must go? Who must go? Who we don't want? Who got to go? Who must go? Who got to go? Who must go? Float the boat. 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 Who must go? Who must go? Who gotta go? Who must go? Who got to go? Got to go. They must go. Chasing them out. Who must go? Who must go? Who must go? Who must go? Free the innocent. Free the innocent. Loose the innocent. Loose the innocent. Free the innocent. Free the innocent. Who must go? Who must go? Who got to go? He must resign. Who must resign? Who must go home? Who got to go? Got to go. Delta must go. Float the boat. Bring up the evidence. 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 Free the innocent. Free the innocent.
As a matter of law. As a matter of law. They have to be tried as simple. Whoever commits an offense in listen here from the man in charge this morning. I'll take out my glasses. Let me get emotions right. All right. Good. We all know Kevin. Kevin is no stranger to me or Melanie. Okay? I won't want this harm to anybody. Watch this, Kevin, what you know. All I'm saying is, if he was driving a bus, a bicycle, a motorcycle, and somebody died, he would have been arrested and charged. Because he's not found guilty, you know. I don't think you understand the law. Listen to me carefully, man. He would have not been found guilty. It's a charge because it's causing death by dangerous driving.
Because that is why
there is a recourse in law that your lawyer should use. The executor and them just hopping around and jumping around.
Don't get disrespectful.
That's what I'm saying. The executor and them let them challenge the decision. Let them challenge the decision.
All right, good. You see, I listen to you. I listen to you.
Jumping around.
Everything now. Let the minister. Wait. If the minister could take the praises to transport an army, why he can't take the failures?
Now the boss was condemned, Mr. Bond.
Why step back? Why the minister don't step back? If he could accept the praises, accept the failures.
That's all the people.
Telling you, so much going on the ground right now. As we continue to analyze the poll question of the day. If the oil rig sunk, would the government take so long to refloat it? 78% is saying no, 22% is saying yes. And guess what? That was the poll question for this live presentation. And the flight has landed right here on Delta9 Media. I want to thank every person for being a part of this live presentation. Big up yourself to all the persons that are traveling with us for the first time. Make sure you subscribe. It don't cost you nothing, buddy, but it's going to keep you connected with everything that's trending in Guyana and in the diaspora. Plus, look out for the pre-recorded uploads coming throughout the evening, throughout the day tomorrow. Definitely look out for a live presentation from us during the day tomorrow, as long as everything runs the way that it's supposed to. Thanks to all of those that are going to catch this live in the rewind in the future. Thumbs up the live. Make sure that you're subscribed and look out again for all the good videos that we got up on the platform right now. Plus, subscribe to Delta9 Media No Filter. Help us to reach that 1,000 landmark that we're headed to right now, so that we could start putting up different types of live content on Delta9 Media No Filter, so that we could connect on so many different levels. A whole lot of different content already waiting to just jump on the platform, right? Delta9 Media No Filter, the barcode is up on the screen. And if you like getting into the esoterics and a bit of study and a lot of the scholarship that we definitely need to be investigating, then definitely Delta9 Media Gnosis Focus is the channel that you should consider subscribing to as well. And while you're at it, mess with some of these notebook learning modules now. Thousands of books. It's a digital library, right? Thousands of books, videos from scholars, videos from authors, different articles, so much right here on a barcode that you can access via an AI app called Notebook Learning Module that's going to help you to analyze this information in a number of different ways. Scan one of the barcode, check it out for yourself, and you can see just how beneficial what's on the screen right now is. Big up to all of those that are going to catch this one again in the rewind. One love, and I'll catch you in the next one.
100% wild-crafted sea moss. Only the best, 'cause you deserve nothing less. 8 Butterfly.